Are you about to watch this video and you're not liked and subscribed to it? Like the video, please. Just go down. It's right there. It's right there.
I did. I hit it. I hit it. Have you hit it?
You know what we're talking about in this episode. You know what we're getting into here. There's going to be some good and there's going to be some bad. Now, I don't know that we're going to agree on everything here. You, the listeners, Dallas and I, baseball fans as a whole, as a unit, as a community, there's going to be some takes thrown out there amongst you guys. I mean, I've already seen it last night, sitting at home, watching Corey Kluber throw the 6th fucking no-hitter of the season. And this comes about, I don't know, 21 hours after the last no-hitter, which was Spencer Turnbull of the Detroit Tigers, which directly led to Barstool's newest hire. That'd be Chris Castellani, who is, if you're a starting 9 OG,
yep,
and you watch the digital show back in the day, you know
Homer.
Chris. Oh yeah, you know Chris. So Spencer Turnbull throws a no-hitter on, what was that, Monday night?
Mm-hmm.
Corey Kluber, the following night, he no-hits the Texas Rangers. So I don't know, I can actually back this up because I know that people will say, oh, it's because a Yankee threw the no-hitter that you didn't find it to be special. I have texts from before. Who was that? It must have been the Wade Miley no-hitter.
Mm-hmm.
I think after the Wade Miley no-hitter, I already started to get the feeling of this doesn't make me feel what it used to because of the, I guess, repetitiveness.
It's because no, that's not why.
I think it's like the quality of the
that's not
starting
why either.
pitchers that are able to do it.
That's not why either.
For me, it is.
It's not. It's your subconscious.
Why is it?
Subconsciously. And this is where we're all at. But I've been here a long time. I've seen this coming a long time. I've been texting a couple different reporters who have reached out to me that wrote articles almost a decade ago about the shift in what we were seeing happening on the mound.
Oh, yeah.
And Clayton Kershaw was a guy who was at the focal point of that conversation just because he was so dominant at the time. And I was asked what I thought about what we were seeing on the mound, the run of dominance. And I said, it's just begun. I said, we are at the dawning of the era of the pitcher. And I said it 10 years ago because it was true 10 years ago when the talk about Tommy John and stuff really started to kick up. And I said, we're bigger, stronger, faster than we've ever been. We're applying more torque to the body and generating velocity at a greater rate than we ever have. So when you combine that with the injuries, well, you can understand why it's happening, as well as overuse and overuse before you get to the big leagues, blah, 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 blah. The whole point was this wave was coming a long time ago. And we are now at the precipice. Everything that has been brought into the game, everything that has surrounded the game is impacting this. So what you don't realize right off the top of your head is that you've already been conditioned to an offensive approach that has 0 two-strike component to it. It has 0 cut my swing down approach to it. It is an all-or-nothing approach. You've already been conditioned to just accept that about the offensive side of the game of baseball. On the defensive side of baseball, you've already been conditioned to accept that guys are going to be throwing 100 miles an hour with regularity. And guys are going to be hunting the strikeout more than they ever have. Why? Because they're being told to burst. They're being told that they're going to be maximized. Put the pedal to the metal, and we'll get you out of there when we need to, and run another guy that throws 100 miles an hour in there. So when you combine a lack of approach at the plate with the best premium stuff we've ever seen, that is in itself, aside from all the other variables, a perfect recipe for teams to be getting no hit. When you've got a roster full of dudes who are just trying to hit homers, and you've got a pitching staff full of guys who do nothing but throw fucking cheese and get swing and miss. Those right there, that's a perfect recipe to have a lack of offense in a game. And that's what's happening across the game of baseball. There are no two-strike approaches any longer. Everybody's hunting the punch-out. And why? Because those guys don't get paid for singles, Jared. And nobody is getting paid for the 200-inning mark because you don't get to go to that point in time anymore. Very rarely are you left in an outing long enough with any sort of consistency to get you to 200 innings. So if you've got the ability to blow through an outing and you find yourself 90 pitches, 95 pitches in the 8th inning, 9th inning, ready to complete a ball, it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. It is one of those things where I don't want to take away from, Turnbull and Kluber and the moment that it is. I mean, it's an accomplishment. It's history. But at the same time, we are at a point where it's May 20th, and I tweeted it last night. There are already more no-hitters thrown this season than there are 20 strikeout games in Major League Baseball history. So, I don't know. I guess, the repetitiveness of it is kind of just, it's like, oh, there's another one. And now I feel like that's just going to be the narrative for the whole year. And I don't know that this is just a fluky season where it's like, oh, this happened, 9 times in 2021. It's like, well, that to me just means it's going to happen 11 times next year and so forth. But I know that you're bringing up the point about the increase of velocity of some of these pitchers. Some of these guys are not even they're not even that. They're not even blowing you away with electric shit.
So now think about the evolution of the art form though. Pitch design. All right? The information, the advanced scouting. All of these things skew heavily to favor the pitcher. Heavily. You could know what I'm going to throw or have an idea of what I'm going to throw in certain counts. All it takes is for me to not throw that one pitch that one time, and the faith in guys and in their homework can wane. And that's why we always say a real professional approach, a real pro hitter, they don't change their approach. They'll give you one side or the other if they're going to make that determination. They'll give you a pitch in a location if they're going to make that determination. But if you make a mistake in their honey hole, you're fucked. That's a pro hitter. That's a pro approach. They can spoil until you come into their nitro zone, and then it's fucking go time. So with the ability to design pitches at a greater extent or to a greater extent, with the ability to compile and apply information more so than ever, combined with velocity. And here's the thing. If they're not, what was Wade Miley throwing? 92, 93?
If that, yeah.
93. Okay, so, but now we got to talk about the movement of his pitches. And, again, a lineup full of guys who are not really interested in just keeping the line moving. These guys are trying to do fucking damage these days. And I don't.
The thing about the Kluber no hitter is it's still very much a winnable. It's 2-0 ball game.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to shoot something in the gap, and they're trying to drive them in.
So here's something else I've thought about, and I would have to go back and look at these numbers. But how many times throughout this ball game, or throughout these 6 no hitters, and it's just remarkable that it's 3 teams that have been no hit twice already.
Yeah.
But how many times in these no hitters was there a defensive shift applied where a guy made it out by hitting into the shift? And that's where the conversation gets sticky, because you're like, well, that's why the no-hitters are happening. They're putting guys in defensive positions where there wouldn't be. Well, you know what? That also opens up other sides of the field, doesn't it? And that would leave open an opportunity for you to not play into the defensive strategy that's been applied to the game, but it would force you to change your approach at the plate. So 2-0, power hitter with the shift on, nobody on, he can't hit the 2-run homer. So is his value bringing the score within 1, or is his value trying to get on base here so that the guy behind him who's trying to hit a fucking homer could maybe tie the ball game? Were there any of those types of situations that were just never taken advantage of?